The defendant pointed that loaded handgun at his brother, and he pulled the trigger 6 times. 5 of those shots hit Keith. One person who had the means, the motive, and the opportunity. And that person is sitting right here today.
He was shot outside Keith Caneiro, right, in his yard. Not inside the house, but outside, in the yard, in the public area. Now, obviously, you know, 10 acres Keith Caneiro had, I believe, of property, so neighbors aren't right next door. But there was a neighbor who heard something, said something, and called 911. Take a listen.
I heard gunshots that were very concerning, and that's what woke me up. I woke up, I heard the shots, and I said, someone just got whacked. Those are the words I said to myself, those exact words.
Okay. And you didn't see anything, correct?
No, I was laying in bed.
Okay.
Wilson Police, Operator Ward.
Hey, how are you today?
Hi.
Question, do you have hunting in the middle of the night because that?
No, you're not allowed to hunt anywhere in the middle of the night.
Right,
Are you hearing gunshots?
I heard gunshots, yeah.
Okay, where are you? Let me send somebody to the area.
Violence and River's Edge.
Okay, you don't see anything, you just hear it?
I was in bed and clearly I heard pop, 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 and then one boom. Like, it's just clearly a gunshot.
Okay, absolutely. We'll send somebody right over to the area. I mean, and you said you can't see a car or anything that would be involved or anything like that, right? It's pretty dark.
Yeah.
Okay. What street are you on, just so we can get a reference point?
River's Edge.
You're on River's Edge.
I get in facing River's Edge and Fine. So
Okay.
Right away. Just gonna see right.
And how many of them did you hear?
It was that, 5.
5.
And then 2 second wait and 1 more.
Okay, let me send somebody where you're out there. Can I just get your name for my record?
Dennis Kapora.
He heard all 6 shots. Police responded. So why didn't they see Keith Caneiro? Why didn't they see the killer driving their car around there? Take a listen to where he lives in reference to where the shooting was.
But you didn't say to the 911 operator, like, I heard the shots, they sound a couple miles away, did you?
No.
Did they sound far away?
I heard them clearly.
Okay, so does that mean they sounded close?
Close enough that I heard them distinctively well.
Okay. Were you made aware that you're approximately 2 to 3 miles away from where this
It
happened?
could be, but again, you're in the dead of the night in Cold Snack, and where we live is very, very quiet. It was distinctive.
He heard him. Like, he said 6 shots. He called 911. It's not like he's making it up after the fact, right? Okay, but he lives 2 to 3 miles away. Take a listen to the prosecutor in her opening statement, because I'm going to try to put some pieces of this together tonight. Take a listen.
You remember Susan's Porsche Cayenne, the car that the defendant backed out of the driveway and that the family sat in and ultimately drove to headquarters. Well, at headquarters, that vehicle was searched. And in the back of that vehicle, in the rear cargo area, officers located a backpack. And inside of that backpack were numerous items belonging to the defendant. His bank cards, his credit cards, his laptop, pieces of his mail, his daughter's savings bonds, his passport, and also the barrel of a 9mm handgun and a gun silencer.
Here it is in court, this so-called gun silencer, which was testified to as an unknown gun part, but that's what it is, a suppressor, a silencer. There it is, folks. And that brings me to the next question in our investigation. Remember, the guy heard the shots 2 to 3 miles away. what does the silencer in the backpack reveal here? Like, what does it mean? Joining me, criminal defense attorney, former head prosecutor in New Jersey, county prosecutor in New Jersey, Bob Bianchi, and firearms expert, studio armorer for more than 30 years, and author of the guidebook, Prop Gun Set Safety for Film and TV, Dutch Merrick is back with us as well. All right, Dutch, I'm going to begin with you first. Is what we saw in court there, is that a silencer?
It appears to be. Without seeing, a silencer has to have baffling inside of it to help dissipate the sound and break up the air travel. So without seeing inside of it, I can't tell you 100%, but from the outside of it, it sure looks like a suppressor. And it's important to know that they're not really silencers. That's a movie myth that us movie guys have created. It's a suppressor, which reduces the sound quite a bit, but it doesn't make it silent. And I think that's germane to this case. If the guy said he heard it from 3 miles away.
Okay, well, that's what I'm going to ask you. He said he heard it clearly. It woke him up. He was sleeping, and the sound of the gun. Is it possible that a silencer was used and he would have heard it 2 to 3 miles away and it would wake him up inside his own home?
So let's think about the conditions. First of all, a suppressor does not silence the gun. It suppresses it, and it's designed to take the decibel level below 140, which is the OSHA level for hearing damage. So a gun is very, very loud, and if you suppress it, it takes it down quite a bit, just so it's not enough to cause hearing damage. So again, it's still a pretty loud report, even with a suppressor. Now, if you're on a cool night and there's cool, dense air, I've heard sounds travel 1.5 miles, it sound like they're right next door. So with a cool night and dense air and not a lot of obstructions, topography or trees or a mountain, you could theoretically hear a suppressed firearm from quite a distance.
Yeah, and it was
my experience.
It was a cool November night. All right, Bob Bianchi, take this now, put it in the courtroom in front of the jury. What is this silencer in the backpack going to reveal here?
This is a damning piece of evidence for the defense and a great piece of evidence for prosecutors. Kind of getting back to the segment before, this is showing premeditation, purposefulness. I have a theory. I don't know if the prosecutor's going to put it together, but that this was made to look like a scene of 2 murderers with 2 different types of weapons. And who would think that Uncle Paulie, to use your expression, Vinny, would ever do this to his 2 nephews and nieces, their innocence? Well, you got to remember, the plot was to make it look like both he and his brothers were being attacked by somebody. So this is what lends credibility to the plan. We keep forgetting it got frustrated because he got caught in the middle of this. But this is all part and parcel. But those pieces of evidence and the silencer and the barrel and all of that, unless it's planted, this will be a very, very difficult case for the defense to get around.
All right, Bob, let me ask you a follow-up to that. Your thoughts about police being in the air. They responded 2 to 3 miles away. Are you surprised in Colts Neck, New Jersey, which you're familiar with, being a Jersey guy, that they didn't see anything or they didn't come across anything that night?
Oh boy, that's a really hard question. No, I guess I'm not surprised. I've seen mistakes get made. I've seen things get missed. You got to also remember, when you talk about a place like Colts Neck, Vinny, you're talking about one of the most affluent communities probably in the United States. This is not a typical kind of crime. These police officers are not trained in this level of violence, for sure, in this sleepy, very highly affluent area. So there may have been something that to maybe, and I don't mean any disrespect to the police officers, they're just in a different environment, that maybe to another officer that's in a more active environment, they would have noticed that may have gotten overlooked here. But that's something the defense is going to try to bring out, and I'm sure the prosecutor, who's done a tremendous job in their opening statement and in their direct case, is going to be asking the same question to make sure they fill in that blank for the jury.
Yeah, and Dutch, I think they need someone like you to testify about silencers not being silent, because if you're just a juror and you've been watching all these movies you've been making all these years, Dutch, we're going to think that it's like, doo, doo, and there's no way someone's going to hear that 3 miles away. So the killer didn't use a silencer, so the killer is not Paul Caneiro. He would have used the silencer that he had.
Right. Yeah. It's sadly someone created a sound effect in like the 50s or 60s, and they've been using it in movies and TV ever since. And it has created this myth, and that's why they call them silencers. And it is absolutely not. They're a suppressor at best, and they do still make a loud report. So I think that really plays in here. And hopefully one of the attorneys brings in someone that can speak to that.
Well, you may be getting a call, Dutch. This trial's got a couple more months to go. Dutch, Merrick, always great to have your expertise. Bob Bianchi's going to stick around. Still to come. Can the defense cast doubt on the DNA evidence?